Hello, everybody. It is Friday, which means we are doing a window shopping video. This is where we talk about cool houses on the market and tell you the things that are not always in the MLS. So thank you for joining us. My name is Stephen Meade. I'm here at Domicile real estate for people who love houses. Let's go ahead and get started. And today we're talking about an Eichler, and we're going to do a little bit more of a deep dive than we normally do. And one of the things I mentioned just now is that I like to provide information, commentary, maybe even some perspective regarding homes, things that are not in the listing or that are not immediately apparent. And I think that's important to do. If I were a buyer, this is the kind of information that I would want. In fact, when I have been a buyer of architectural properties, personally, this is the kind of information that I have sought and wanted. So let's go ahead and get started, because this is a home that just hit the market this week. We've been in a bit of an Eichler drought. There have not been a lot of Eichlers hitting the market. And this one is interesting for a lot of reasons. And I said interesting with a pause there because it has some very unique qualities to it. Most of them very, very positive. One of them that's maybe a little bit negative, but we're going to talk about that. And that's what I meant when I said we're going to do a deep dive. So let's talk about this house. This is 860 South Cedarwood Street. It is located in the Fairhaven neighborhood in Orange. And this is one of the bigger models. It's honestly one of the more popular models that people seem to like. It has a kitchen in the center of it, just under 2,000 square feet, built in 1960. So this is one of the first ones built in the neighborhood. And it is listed at 1.75 million. It has been extensively remodeled for the most part. I think they've done some great upgrades, but perhaps the most important thing about this property that really makes it super interesting is that it's on a 12,300 square foot lot. There are, probably about 8 to 10 Eichler homes in Orange County that sit on really big lots like this, especially in the Fairhaven neighborhood. So this is rare. It's kind of at the end of a cul-de-sac, and it's a little bit separated from other homes in the neighborhood. That's a plus and a minus. I think you get a lot more seclusion and privacy with this house than you would get in some of the other Eichler homes. But it also means you have a little bit less community involvement. You're not seeing people walk by your house all the time like you do in some of the other neighborhoods. So let's go ahead and get started and talk through this. They've done some modifications to this house, and I want to talk about those two. Probably a really basic one that you're going to see is right here. So they've largely kept this configuration of the kitchen. It's not terribly different than how these homes were built. They've actually taken a little bit of the wall out here. They've kind of made this island a little bit, that's a little bit of an addition. But the big thing is they've actually extended this wall right here, and they put these cabinets and recessed them into it. I actually think this is a hugely positive change for this house. It makes this walkway much wider when you're going through it. So you've got atrium is intact. You can see how you can just look through this house to this extensive backyard, which has a pool in this case. Something I really love about this house is because this yard is so big, the pool is not right next to the house. I like being able to walk outside, have some outdoor space that's a bit of a buffer zone before you hit that pool area. And another thing you'll notice is they actually extended the roof line here to create a covered patio off the back. I actually think that's an improvement. Now, this is the only photo of the exterior of this home. And I think that was done by design. By the way, this is not my listing. This is listed by Kelly Laule of Better Living SoCal. She and I have known each other for quite a long time. She's a great agent to work with. I, of course, always recommend, if you're a buyer, that you have your own buyer's agent. So if you like this house, do reach out to me. But Kelly is a great listing agent. She lists a lot of Eichler homes. And I think this was actually a smart move on her part, because this home has been modified from the original front of an Eichler, but somebody has done such a good job with this that it's not immediately apparent. And I want to point out and talk about what that is for a couple reasons. One, because I want to show that whoever did this work did a very high quality job, in my opinion. And secondly, if it's something that you wanted to change back, I don't think it would be that difficult to do. So I don't want somebody to shy away from this house because of this. And I think some people might, right? Not understanding that what was done was A, done really well, and B, if you don't like it, it's not that difficult to change. So this home has a 2-car garage. This model was not originally built with a 2-car garage. The original configuration is where this garage was sort of a carport space and then some glass that went into the atrium. You also notice this garage door is extra tall versus the garage door next to it. I think a previous owner of this home had probably an RV or a boat or something like that where they needed the extra height. I'm going to go and show you a photo of this model as it was built originally. So let me come out of screen share here, and I've got a photo to show you. I wish I could kind of do these side by side, but my Zoom skills are not that great. But this is the original front facade for this model. And so what you see is you've got a single car garage, a carport, and then this frosted glass that goes into here. And this beam goes across and it actually supports the roof here. So let's go ahead. We're going to go back to our other here. And if you go back and you take a look at this, what they've done is a really high quality job. They matched the Eichler siding. This looks like it could have been an option when this home was originally built, but I don't think it was. And they raised this beam. I think if somebody wanted to go back and reconfigure this, which I'd imagine you'd have to do if you wanted to get a Mills Act contract on this property, I don't think that would be terribly expensive to do. I think this is a sub $10,000 to $15,000 thing if you wanted to change it back. And when you're spending $1.75 million and saving potentially huge on property taxes, but if you wanted to keep it the way it is, like I said, they poured the right footer wall, they used the Eichler siding. It all looks well and integrated, and it also gives you a second garage space instead of carport, which for some people might be very useful. So this is, again, another view of that atrium space. It's pretty big in this model. And then if you look back here, this would have been frosted glass through here and open to that carport had this still been a carport. So this is that spot where you're actually, where there's, and again, they put in Eichler siding along this wall in its entirety. So, I mean, it's really a well-executed modification. We've got kind of this multi-purpose room space in here. I want to go ahead and really get to kind of some of the background space. By the way, this is what I was talking about. These cabinets were normally shallow depth cabinets and they stuck out into here. By doing it this way, it really opens up this walkway. I think it's definitely an improvement on this home. Great, clean and simple kitchen design. I think sometimes we're tempted to try just a little bit too hard. And this is something that's timeless. I don't think you're going to get tired of this kitchen remodel. Got wood paneling again. I always like to see the wood paneling remain in this home. This one also has ductwork in the slab. You can see there's an air return on the end of this living room space right up here. That indicates that this home does indeed have a furnace. I'm trying to look and see if we've got any vents visible in any of these pictures, but they do exist in this model. Let's see, what else was I going to mention? Of course, I said that, now I'm not seeing any vents. Oh, nope, there we go. There is one of the vents right there. So this one does have the slabbed vents. It's a lot easier to add air conditioning. I've always liked this formal living room being up front here with this fireplace arrangement with kind of the harsh hearth. I've always thought this was a great model and sort of appreciated it. And I like this kitchen in the middle. Today the kitchen really is the center of our space, when we're talking about houses. So really kind of a great job that I think they've done in the remodel. What I want to do is really kind of focus on this yard. They've done something here where they've changed around this closet configuration to add dual vanities in this primary suite. So that's a little bit different that they've done. Again, there's VCT flooring throughout in this house, which is kind of a very nice, appropriate type of arrangement. This is that extra deep back patio I was talking about. So normally this roof would only come out about maybe a third of a half this way, but this creates kind of a covered space out the back that could be used. And then this is the backyard. And I think this really gives you a sense and a perspective on the space. This is a huge backyard by Eichler standards. You've also got, because it's a kind of a pie-shaped lot, it's kind of one of these cul-de-sac shapes, you've also got a huge side yard on this house, which is over here. I think there is so much potential in what you can do with this yard. It really makes me feel like the house is priced really well for what you're getting and what you could have on this. I think, yes, there have been some modifications and maybe some of them you don't like. I don't think anything, if you wanted to change it, is that difficult. But getting a larger yard when you don't have one, that is impossible. So, it's the old adage in real estate, right? You want to focus on, don't worry about the things you can change, worry about the things that you can't change, right? This is a quiet cul-de-sac location. This is kind of a little potting shed, workbench area. I think you could do something cool back here, maybe make it a bar, maybe a lounge. And again, you've got this multi-level pool space. It's kind of a cool shape to the pool. I think you could really do a lot to kind of create this, the tired trope of the resort-like backyard. But in this home, I think that's an honest description of what this could be. I think this could very much have a private boutique hotel vibe to it without a huge amount of difficulty. And like I said, if you're buying an Eichler home, you're buying this for the long run, right? You're not buying this as a house to live in for the next 2 years or 3 years, right? Most Eichler buyers are thinking of this really as kind of a long-term proposition. By the way, these homes always look great around dusk like this, just beautiful. This is that home office space that is in there. Anyhow, this is a great Eichler that I think a lot of people might look over because of some of those modifications. I don't think the garage thing is that big of a deal. And I think if somebody wants to change it out, I don't think it's a huge deal to redo this back to original, which in my opinion, I think would get you being pretty close to eligible for a Mills Act contract on this house, which would save you, gosh, at this price point, I mean, you're probably going to save over $1,000 a month on property taxes. So that really pays for itself pretty quickly. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching 860 South Cedarwood in Orange in the Fairhaven Eichler neighborhood. I think this is one of the better homes to come along as an opportunity. Don't be scared off by a couple little things that, to be honest, in the grand scheme, really don't make that much of a difference. I think this is one of those homes that could be a showstopper because of this large yard and because it's a model that I think is just really a cool Eichler model. So if you're interested in this home, we'd love to show it to you, represent your interests as a buyer. If you don't like this house, but you're interested in other architectural homes, we would still love to work with you, primarily in Los Angeles and Orange counties. And if you have a cool or unique architectural home to sell, that is also our specialty. So definitely reach out to us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And we will see you again real soon.